Welcome back. Well, Optus says it's going to take its fight over showing sports matches on mobile phones all the way to the High Court. This comes after that federal court ruling last month preventing TV Now subscribers from watching recorded free-to-air programs on their mobiles. James has the details. James, was this appeal expected?
Yeah, I think so. There's been a lot of misrepresentation about actually what Optus want to do. Look, and I'm not sure of their actual motives, but you keep reading things like, oh, you know, Optus wants to stream sports rights that they don't have. Well, it's not actually what they want to do. They want to give people the power to record content to the cloud, if you like, then watch it back at a time to suit them. What's upsetting some people is that you could actually record it back quite close to it being recorded to the cloud. So, but for people, you know, are they going to get a lot of customers trying to avoid paying the fees to sports right holders? Well, I don't think so, because it's a really complicated and quite expensive way to get around sports rights that probably aren't going to cost you a lot of money anyway.
So it's not going to devalue those sports rights that Telstra's paid?
No. Look, long term, I can understand the rights holders wanting to put a stake in the ground saying, yeah, look, we want to nip this stuff in the bud in case it does develop, you know, into a threat. But there's a way it's structured now, I don't think so.
Now, NRL TV rights, the opening salvos have been fired out there. What have we heard so far?
Yeah, gee, there's going to be a lot of coverage about this year, I tell you. Last time around, not so much media at all. This time a lot. Existing rights holders, Nine and Fox Sports, have put in their preliminary bids. People who seem to know about these things think it's well under what the $1 billion plus that the NRL is hoping for, and now they're talking to 7 and 10 to, you know, sound them out and get them in the bidding war and see where it ends up.
Let's have a quick look at the ratings. This is free-to-air for week 18. First, The Voice, clear winner there for 9. And absolutely. Just turning to the next page there, you can see The Block also doing well for 9 and 60 Minutes too. And just looking at the subscription TV, top 5 sport, dominated by NRL and AFL matches. Top 5 non-sport, Grand Designs Australia again for lifestyle in #1 spot.
Nickelodeon in there too.
Doing very well, yes, at number 5. Just quickly, MasterChef 2012 was launched. How's it rated? Is it going to help 10 overall? Look,
it's not as shiny and powerful it was last year, but then everybody's down at the moment, but it's still a breakout program for 10. Their #1 show. Look, it's not going to do the business it did last year on these indications.
All right, and just quickly, SBS major funding boost in the budget.
Yeah, look, $158 million extra money on top of what they were going to get, launching a national Indigenous channel, sort of merging the existing one in. So yeah, some exciting times ahead for them.
All right, now let's just turn to online video, and certainly what we've seen in the past week is James Manning sitting down with the president of CBS Interactive Worldwide, Jim Lanzoni, and he had some pretty big predictions saying that online video is making money for CBS at the same rate as TV advertising.
Yeah, look, it was great to get some time with a global exec. They don't spend a lot of time in Sydney, these guys, and they've owned the company here for, I know, 4 or 5 years, and it's the first time they've been down here to see how the Australian division's going. So I started off asking Jim about, look, exactly what is CBS Interactive.
All right, here's what he had to say.
Well, the biggest thing CBS is known for is the television network, which is on a great run. It's actually been the #1 network in American television for 10 of the last 11 years. So CBS.com is a big part of it. We also run CBSSports.com, CBSNews.com, and then programs like 60 Minutes. You know, they have an online presence, and we run all of that for the network. And then we also have our own individual web properties. So CNET is the biggest. CBS acquired that in 2008. It's also the biggest one we run in Australia. Last.fm in music, GameSpot in video games. And then we also have this huge business in China, almost 150 million users a month there as well. So altogether, it's about 400 million users a month, and that puts us at #8 globally.
We've seen a lot of growth in mobile and video over the past few years. Are those trends continuing?
Huge. It's I'd say it's one of the 3 major trends right now is mobile. You know, we run premium content sites, so we are seeing this ourselves. Not only do we cover it through CNET and the things that we report on, but on our own sites, we've seen that now up to 40% of the traffic, the average is probably about 20, but up to 40% of the traffic is now coming through mobile, and that's compared to low single digits 2 years ago. So it's really on fire, mobile.
Tell us about the latest trends in tablets.
Yeah, so a couple things there. So I'd say definitely the Android-based tablets are coming on strong, led by Samsung in particular. And you're seeing a lot of different versions of mobile. So you're even seeing like the Samsung Note, which is almost like a large iPhone small tablet. So you're getting all these different variations. I don't believe the tablet is a replacement for the laptop. I think having a desktop and a physical keyboard has its own place in the ecosystem. And the tablet tends to skew towards entertainment and consumption of content. So, you know, right now it's about best screen available. If you're at home, you're going to watch on your big screen if you can, and if you need to do, you know, desktop computing, you would do that. And then really tablet and your mobile phone are about you know, place shifting and doing it on the go.
As traditional newspaper readers move across to digital, does that make that audience more of a target for you?
Well, anything in print. So, you know, in what is a site like CNET, in its old incarnation, was print on a screen. So certainly they were competitive that way. Although we've always had partnerships with people at the New York Times, or Hearst, where you would get, you know, CNET reviews on their physical newspapers. You'd see it there. But now, obviously, we're all moving more and more towards video, which I'd say is one of the other top 3 trends. Is video is a rocket ship right now, and it's impacting everybody, including people who were predominantly text before, like CNET or GameSpot or our other properties.
And explain some of your business models. Is most of your content free, or do you have premium content that you sell as well?
Yeah, we're diverse, and so some things are free. And in fact, when we show television shows online at CBS.com, and you watch CSI or you watch 2.5 Men, those are ad-supported, so we're not charging for those. If you want to download them in the iTunes store, then you would pay to download it. But we have a diverse business model. So in some cases, in our business-to-business area, you know, we're doing lead generation. We're also the biggest site for fantasy sports on the internet, so fantasy football, fantasy baseball. I don't know if there's fantasy Australian rules football, is there? Okay. So we should do that too. But people pay for those leagues. So we have a diverse business model, but I would say display advertising is the biggest one still.
What are some of the advertising trends in the emerging sectors out there for you?
Yeah, I'd say video is the biggest trend in display advertising, and it used to be that especially big networks were afraid to put their content online because they would say it was, you know, you were trading you know, dollars for digital pennies. But now we monetize video, you know, we make money through video at the same rate we do on television. So now it's just about where someone consumes it, and we're making a lot of money through that online.
There's a bit of controversy here over what they call pre-rolls, with the consumer not getting a choice. Have you had sort of much feedback, and what's your sort of policy on stuff like that?
I think the most interesting thing that we see is that consumers certainly have a problem with pre-rolls, and I'd say they have a bigger problem the shorter the video. So if you're on YouTube and you're going to watch a 30-second video, you don't really want to sit through a 30-second ad. Whereas the average consumer on CBS.com spends over an hour with each visit. So they're more willing to sit through those. And yet I'd say that what we've found is that mid-rolls, so the ads that show during the video, not at the beginning, but during and interrupt the program, consumers have a very high tolerance for those. And probably because they're into the show more. So I'd say it probably varies depending on the type of video.
Jim Lanzoni there, head of CBS Interactive. James, thanks so much for that. James Manning there, editor and publisher of Mediaweek. Let's return to News Corp's results now and get the market's reaction. Here's Chris Weston from IG Markets.
I mean, clearly this result from News Corp is a good result, and you can see that in the financials now. You know, the market probably a little bit pleased by the dollar strength that's coming through, which always helps a company like News Corp. But the actual financials of the company in the third quarter earnings are very, very good. I mean, we saw adjusted earnings per share, EPS, at 37 cents. You know, that was significantly higher than the previous corresponding period by the tune of 42%, well above what the market was looking for. You know, you had operating income, you know, double-digit growth coming through there as well. So clearly this was a great result in that regard. Probably the bad point the analysts in the market will be pointing to is the television numbers there. We did see about 11% decline to 172 million, probably down to, or mainly due to the absence of the Super Bowl there, but everything else was pretty much a standout. We saw an increased buyback, that pool of money now being increased to 10 billion US dollars from 5 billion. They've effectively done about a 4 billion of that buyback already, so that will be fed into the numbers and certainly should lower the PE projections of that company. But all if you look at all the other areas, I mean, satellite was up 135%. You had cable up 15.1%, which was about 3% above the expectations of the market and made up about 64% of their earnings. So cable, again, a standout coming through there. We saw film really, really strong. Their film division saw that third quarter EBIT of 272 million, which was up about 9.7%, and about up considerably above what the market was looking for as well. So everything did very well. Even publishing, which was down 19.3% in the third quarter against the PCP, was 13% above the market's expectations. We saw Chase Carey coming out and reconfirm that James Murdoch isn't looking to leave anytime soon. He's also backed again. Rupert Murdoch saying he's a very trustworthy and great individual to work with. And the company's come out and revised or confirmed their growth for the full year for low to mid double-digit teens growth coming through as well. So the market's positioned for about 13% growth, so that's okay. But you know, that's a great result. The stock's up 3% today, testing that $20 mark again, so that's interesting. Elsewhere, I mean, continued speculation as to what's going to happen with Consolidated Media. We've seen Macquarie and Citigroup downgrading Consolidated Media into neutral, suggesting it's getting quite messy at the moment. Clearly, the natural fit is News Corp at the moment. If we are going to see those that CMJ share being sold off, Foxtel, they reckon, could be constrained by regulatory issues, and Seven West as well may have issues because of capital constraints. So News Corp seems to be the standout there. Consolidated Media just holding up at the moment, just doing quite nicely this week.
That's all we've got time for from the team here. Thanks for your company.